Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. One of the greatest parts about being a game master in Dungeons & Dragons is creating your own campaign. You get to create the game world that the players are in and the lands that they visit. It's a really good way to be creative, get your own thoughts out there. But even if you don't want to go through all the hassle of coming up with your own lands and worlds, the game companies have you covered, and they create campaign books that you can buy and use for your own means. And one of the second oldest campaign setting for Dungeons & Dragons is Greyhawk. The first being Blackmoor, but Greyhawk is the second oldest. And it has pretty much appeared in one way or another in every edition of Dungeons & Dragons. And in this video, we're going to talk about the campaign setting for Greyhawk in 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons with Greyhawk The Adventure Begins. This book has 128 pages and a copyright of 1998, and it was published by TSR. The book has an insert in it that has a map of the land, a map of the city that is numbered to correspond to the locations in the book, and it has some other stuff that we'll talk about in a minute. This was all published by TSR. The artwork in both of them is all in black and white. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. The artwork in this book is all in black and white, with no full-page pictures to be found anywhere in the book. All in all, the artwork in this book is really decent and serves its purpose well. To use this book, what you'll need is a copy of all 3 core rule books for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition, and a full set of dice, which consists of a 20-sided die, a 12-sided die, preferably 2 10-sided dice for rolling both tens and percentiles, an 8-sided die, 6-sided die, and a 4-sided die. This book, I'd like to say it has absolutely everything that you'll need to fully run a Greyhawk campaign, but it doesn't. But it does have a lot of information. The Greyhawk campaign takes place on a planet called Orth, and the continent that you'll be on is Auric. And the particular part of the continent that you'll see in this book is called the Flannis. Greyhawk is a city in the Flannis, and it's the most popular city. It's often referred to as the Jewel of the Flannis. And this book has a full history of the Flannis in it. It has a lot of reference material in it from other earlier published books about Greyhawk. And it has a little bit on the peoples that live in the Flannis. It has a listing of the days that you'll find in their weeks, months, days of celebration, and so forth. There is information on a little bit of information on some of the locations in the Flannis. Most of the book contains information on the city of Greyhawk. And it comes with a map of the city, and the map has got numbers in it. And those numbers correspond to different numbers in the book. They tell you what that location is, and give you ideas of story hooks and stuff. The book came with this booklet. The cover of the booklet is a map of the Flannis, and on the reverse side is a map of the city of Greyhawk. The city of Greyhawk is broken up into several quarters, and it explains that in the core book. The booklet that it comes with has a few maps of different locations in the Flannis, and gives a little bit of a description about those locations. And basically, they're just sparks for adventure ideas that you could run your players through, which is kind of cool. But if you wanted the full effect for Greyhawk, my recommendation is you get that book and the Player's Guide to Greyhawk. This book has 64 pages and a copyright of 1998, and it was also published by TSR. All the artwork in this book is in black and white as well, so let's go ahead and look at that artwork. Like the other book, all the artwork in this book is in black and white. There are no full-page pictures in this book as well. And like the other book, all of the artwork in this book is well done. Like the other one, it comes with a map of the Furnace, which is the cover of the book. It's not stapled to the rest of it, so it comes off. And it's basically the same map. The book itself has a lot of information for your characters. It briefly goes over a little bit of the history of the Furnace again. It goes over some locations in the Furnace other than Greyhawk. Briefly goes over some other places of interest in the city of Greyhawk. It goes more into detail about the peoples of the Furnace and different traits that you can apply to your character, like different races of humans and elves and stuff. It has, in this book, a listing of the gods. The gods come in several varieties in Greyhawk. You have the greater gods, the intermediate gods, the lesser gods, the demigods, and hero gods, which is kind of cool. It has all the information on that. It has information on several notable personalities that you might run into in the Furnace, and particularly in Greyhawk. It also has different kits that you can apply to your characters in the back of this book. Very, very good book. Lots of useful information. If you have both of these books, then you could fully run a Greyhawk campaign because you got everything you need in these two books. It just kind of sucks. I wish it was all in one book, but, you know, I guess separating them was what they wanted to do. Greyhawk is one of my favorite campaigns that I've run. I've run it more than any of the others. Probably a little bit more than even campaigns I've created myself. But Greyhawk has got everything that you can want. It's got barbarians. It's got an evil demigod named Use the Old, who you could put in and use kind of like a Lord of the Rings type deal. And you have the Orcish Empire of Bajarm, which had lots of encounters down that way. There's the Scarlet Brotherhood running a slave trade. There's water adventures. There's anything you can think of, you can probably find in here. It's a good campaign. There's a lot of history with it. And that's pretty much all I got to say about these two books for now. Which brings me to three questions. Would I play a character in this campaign? Yes, I would. I like Greyhawk. Greyhawk is probably my favorite campaign. Would I run a game using these books? Yes, I would, and yes, I have. And done that more than most of the other campaigns I got. Would I recommend these books? If you want to run Greyhawk for 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons, then yes, you need these books. It's got a lot of information in them for you. And you don't have to follow 100%. That's the great part about campaigns. You can use them as a structure for your own stuff. And that's pretty much all I got to say about Greyhawk 2nd edition. And thank you for joining me at this look at these books. And hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.